Hello learners. In this lecture we will see how the compressive testing of a cement is done. So before we begin with compressive testing of a cement test, we need to understand what is this compressive force and how it's going to act. So the resistance against any compressive gradual loading is called as compressive resistance, right? So let us say this is a specimen what I have, and if I'm trying to apply a load from both the direction in this way, so this is my compressive force, right? So the compression force is that force which tries to squeeze the material together, or the pushing force applied on two faces of the specimen, we call this as a compressive force. If you want to, and in the same way, if you try to reverse the force, that is, if I, instead of putting a compressive force, if I try to put a force into opposite direction, something like this, in this direction, then this is called as a tensile force. And one thing we need to understand, my cement or the concrete is not strong in tension force, so it is strong in compression force. So that is why we can see whenever we do a test, we get more compressive force in comparison to the tensile force, right? So in other words, in technical terms, compressive strength of the cement means the ability of the cement specimen to resist the compressive stress when tested under the compressive testing machine at the end of 28 days is called as compressive force. So we'll try to see what all are the equipments that we require for conducting this particular test. So the apparatus required are, first is a compressive testing machines. This is what we require, and then we require steel cube. This is a steel cube what we have, and the size of this is 7.60 by 7.60 is the length, the breadth, and even the height of this is also 7.60 centimeter. And then we require a trowel to mix the cement paste, and also we require a non-porous plate. A vibrator machine is also required so that all the cement paste will go exactly into the mold and there won't be any voids in between there. Then we require a graduated cylinder, a weigh balance, a cement, and obviously water is required. Now we'll try to see the procedure of this. I'll be explaining two different procedures so that it is easy for us to choose whichever is required. Yeah, so we'll start with this. The first thing is that we have to clean the apparatus. Give me a minute. Yeah. So procedure one is clean the apparatus with a dry cloth and ensure that room temperature for conducting this test should be in between 27 plus or minus 2 degrees Celsius. So whatever mold we have, that is 7.06 by 7.06 by 7.06, we should make sure it is clean. And always when we try to do that, we should try to clean it, keep it clean. So that is the reason the first point is all about the cleaning. The second is that mix the cement and sand with a trowel for the period of 1 minute on a non-porous plate. Ensure that the cement should not have any lumps in it. The second is that we'll take a cement and we'll take sand. In how much ratio it has to be mixed, that we'll try to see in the upcoming lectures. So both you have to mix and make sure that cement is not having any lumps into that. The third point is that now we need to add water, right? Now add water and mix for 3 minutes until the paste is of uniform color. The quantity of cement mixed with the cement and the sand mixture should be, so this is a percentage of water that you need to add, that is p by 4 plus 3%, where p is again the percentage of water that is required to produce the standard consistency. And if you remember, we had got it as 35%, and 35% you have to add water, divide by 4 plus 3% of that. Next is that clean the mold with a dry cloth and apply the mold oil for easy removal of the mortar cube after drying. So whenever we try to clean the mold, after that we need to apply the oil, right? So that why we have to apply the oil? So this oil will ensure that whatever cement paste we are going to put, after demolding, it will be easy for us to take it out. Otherwise, what will happen? There will be a cohesion, or there will be a glue between a cement paste and the mold if you don't apply the oil. So this oil will act like a divider between the cement paste and the mold, so that it will be easy for us to remove it once uh, my cement paste is set. Next is now pour the mortar in the steel cube mold. Pour the mortar for 20 times with 8 seconds with the help of a rod to eliminate the entrained air. So this is not required again. So we just you have to pour the mortar in the steel cube, and when you are pouring it, you have to give a tamping to that so that um, the cement paste will go everywhere and there won't be any void into that. Next, we can also use the vibrator instead of rod. Instead of taking this tamping rod and tamping it, see, this is how it looks. Let me do it here. So this is that cube, and once you fill it, we'll try to tamp it. This is a tamping rod. So with this we'll try to tamp it so that there won't be any voids in between the cement paste. So if you don't want to make use of this stamping rod, we'll be having a vibrator. The vibrator is played for the period of 2 minutes with a speed of 12,000 plus or minus 400 vibrations per minute to eliminate the entrained air in the mortar mix. So what is this vibrator? We'll be having a big shaking vibrator. Let me do it here. So let us say this is a table what we have. Okay, and this table, and we are going to keep the mold over that. So there is a vibration in this table. As a result of that, if there is any voids into this cement mold, it will get filled due to the vibration. So this is called as vibrator. So if you want, you can use vibrator. If not, you can make use of this stamping rod. So once the vibration completes, immediately remove the mold from the vibration machine and place it in the room temperature for 24 hours. So once the mortar cubes are set, after 24 hours we'll try to take it out, and we are going to place it for the curing. So what we are going to do, once the cement paste is filled into this particular mold, we'll allow it to set, and after 24 hours we'll try to take this mold out so that whatever shape we wanted, the same shape of cement paste will be the same shape of cement mortar will be ready. And after that, what we need to do, we'll try to see that. So the next is that we have to do the curing. You can see once you have done that mold, we had put into the mold, and then you try to remove it out. This is how your cement specimen is going to look. So keep the test specimen submerged in the water for the stipulated time. This process of keeping the cement paste or that mold into the water is called as curing. So this curing is done so that if you don't do the curing, whatever water we have added into the cement paste, no, that will get evaporated. So I don't want that evaporation to happen. So that is why what I try to do, I try to immerse this into the water. So what will happen, there won't be evaporation from the cement paste or from the cement what we have added. So after that, what we need to do, has mentioned the specimen must be kept in water for 7 or 14 or 28 days, and for every 7 days the water is changed. So if you want, you can change the water, otherwise it's okay. So test the 3 cubes on 7th day, and once this is done, we are going to do the testing of this. So on how many days we are going to do the testing? On 7th day we are going to do the testing of this, then on 14th day we are going to do the testing, and then on 28th day we are going to do the testing. So the testing specimen are placed in space between the bearing surface of the compressive strength machine. So I'll be showing you what is this compressive testing machine, and the care must be taken to prevent any existence of any loose material or dirt on the metal plates of the machine or the specimen block. You can see a kind of a specimen here. So this kind of specimen we shouldn't create. This is, you can see it here. So this is a result of not giving proper tamping and not doing the proper vibration. If you do proper vibration and if you properly tamp it, this is the kind of a cement mold or cement mortar that is required. So here what has happened is a loss of paste and all. So even before testing only, this is going to fail, right? So that is why we should make sure the vibration is done properly and proper tamping is done. So now we'll try to see how these testings will be done. So this is how, this is called as compressive testing machine. We call it as CTM, and this is a mold what we have kept, that is a mortar specimen. And you can see from here we'll try to apply the force. The force is coming from here and also from the bottom. It will try to compress. That means we are applying a compressive force. And how much compressive force we are trying to apply, the corresponding dial gauge what you can see, that will give us the reading of that. So whenever it will fail, a small crack is going to happen and it will fail, and the reading corresponding to that we are going to note it down. Right, now coming to the loading application, how the load has to be applied. The loading must be applied axially, that means you have to put it vertically on the specimen without any shock, and increased at a rate of 35 newton per mm square per minute till the specimen collapses. So due to the constant application of the load on the face of the cube, the mortar cube start cracking and fails at a point. Right, as you keep on increasing the load, what will happen, at one particular stage there will be a crack here, and slowly it's going to fail. So whenever it's going to fail, we have to note down the reading from the compressive testing machine where the specimen starts failing. So you are going to have a dial gauge here, and whenever it fails, the corresponding reading we need to take it out. So once we get the reading, what is the next step? The next step is very simple. So the compressive strength of the concrete, that means it has to be cement, it's not a concrete. What you can do is write it here, cement mortar. You can make this as cement mortar or the cement. or when you can write it as cement, is equal to maximum load what is carried by the specimen divided by the top surface area of the specimen. So what is the top surface area of the specimen that we already seen? See, this is how my mold is going to look, right? So we have 7.06 by 7.06 by 7.06. So the top surface area is the length into breadth. That is 7.06 into 7.06, which comes out to be 49.84. Let us say 50 square centimeter is what is the top surface. So now it's very simple. So we need to do a chart something like this: age of the cube, surface area of the cube, maximum load at which it breaks. Then we have to put the compressive strength and the average compressive strength. So we are going to do the testing for 3 days. That is on, I mean, for 3 times. For seventh day, I'm going to do. Then for the 14th day, I'm going to do, and on the 28th day. So this 7 days and 14 days strength, we actually do it so that we get an idea whether exactly on 28 days we are going to get the proper strength or not. But whatever we'll consider for our calculation will be the 28 days strength, and 28 days strength is important for us. 7 days and 14 days is actually giving us an idea whether that strength will be achieved by the end of 28 days or not. Yeah. So coming to the result part, this is how the results has to be written. The average compressive strength of cement cube at 7 days is so and so. The average compressive strength of cement cube at 14 days is so and so. And at the end of 28 days, it is so and so. So right now we saw a very elaborate way of explanation, right? Now we'll try to see in a more better way. Quickly, I'll go through that. So you can make use of this and you can understand this in a better way. Yeah. So aim of the experiment we know to determine the compressive strength of the given sample apparatus is so and so. So the procedure what we need to do, we have to take cement and sand in the ratio of 1:3. So this thing I did not explain. So the cement and sand has to be taken in the ratio of 1:3. That means if you're taking 1200 gram of cement, what is the three time of that? The three time of that is 3600. So 1200 gram of cement and 3600 gram of sand has to be taken in the ratio of 1:3. And here, whatever sand you have to take, that is actually Ennore sand. Ennore is a place in Tamil Nadu. And according to that, we have done all this test. But if you don't get that sand, the sand what you get locally is also okay. But we should make sure it meets the requirement of the Ennore sand. Okay. Yeah. The second is that the water of quantity equal to P by 4 plus 3% of combined weight of cement and sand was added to the mix, where P is a normal consistency. After mixing, the mortar was compacted on the vibrating table in the mold of size 7.06 by 7.06 by 7.06 centimeter, and then the compacted mold containing the mix was kept at a temperature of so and so. This is not so important. It's okay if you try to keep it in the normal temperature. And after 24 hours, we'll try to the cubes were removed from the mold and were immersed in the clean and fresh water until taken out for the testing. 6 cubes were tested for the compressive strength at 3 days, at the 7 day, and at the end of 28 days. So, and according to that, the average compressive strength of cement at 3 days, 7 days, and 28 days is founded. That means for every one sample for 3 days, you require three particular sample. For three at the end of 3 days, I require three sample. At the end of 7 days, I require three sample, and at the end of 28 days I require three samples. That means altogether I need to cast nine such cubes so that my testing will be done properly, right? Yeah. So coming to the result part again. So coming to the observation, what is the weight of a cement we had taken? 1200 gram. Weight of sand what we had taken? 3600 gram. Amount of water will be P by 4 plus 3%. If you try to do this, you will get 576 ml. Now this is how it is applied. See, load, this is a load what we have got, 11.5 into, this is conversion factor what we have done from kilonewton, and this is a cross sectional area of that, and this is a compressive strength. This 23.02 what you are getting, this you are getting it from the compressive testing machine. So this is at the end of 7 day we have taken 3 cube, and for 3 cube we have done the testing, and the average of this, that is 23.02, 25.03, and 20.02. The average of this comes out to be 22.69. Similarly, at the end of 28 days also we have done, and at the end of 20 days again we got for the first sample 37.04, 35.04, and 38.04. Take an average of this, you are going to get 36.70. So in this way we need to do the test for this. Now coming to the conclusion part, So the average compressive strength of cement at the end of 7 days is 22.69 and at the end of 28 days is 36.70. Now to get a raw idea, we follow this particular thing, that is, in order to get the 7-day strength, what is the formula that we can use? The formula what we can use is 2/3. Let us say we have different grades of cement, right? That is 33 grade cement, we have 43 grade cement, and we have 53 grade cement. Right now whatever I'm explaining it for 33 grade cement. So let us say at the end of 7 days how much minimum strength you need to require. We have a certain formula. The formula is that 2/3 of the grade of the cement. Let us say I'm taking making use of 33 grade cement. What is 2/3 of that? If I try to do 2/3 of 33, I should get 22 megapascal or Newton per mm square. So this much minimum strength I need to get, and how much I got? I got 22.69, which is greater than 22. That means whatever calculation I have done and whatever mold what I have prepared, that is correct. In the same way, at the end of 28 days, you should get more than 33 Newton per mm square. So we are getting more than 33 only, we are getting 36.70. In the same way, at the end of 3 days, how much you have to get? You have to get half of that. That is half of 33. Half of 33 comes out to be 16 MPa. So we are getting 16 MPa. So in this way, you have to conduct all the tests, right? Now, whatever explanation I have done, it is for 33 grade cement. Similarly, let us say you want to find it for 43 grade cement, the same procedure holds good. And let us say you want to do it for 53 grade of cement, the same procedure holds good, right? But whenever you want to verify the answers, how do you verify? Let us say I want to find the compressive strength of the 43 grade cement at the end of 7 days. Then what is the formula I need to use? 2/3 of 43 is what I need to do. 2/3 of 43. And similarly, if I want to find the strength at the end of 3 days, what I need to do? Half of 43 is what I need to do. And we need to see whether this much strength is practically achieved or not, right? So if I try to do 2/3 of 43, 2/3 of 43, it comes out to be 28.67. Let us say it comes out to be 28.67. And practically when you cast a 43 grade cement, we do a test on that, you should get more than this strength only. Only then we can say the cement what we used is according to the standard, and whatever test we have done, it is the right way of doing. In the same way, for end of 3 days also you need to carry out this particular calculation. So this is a kind of a thumb rule, so that we can understand whether the test what we have done is correct or not. Yeah. So now coming to the last part of this. So whatever we have done so far, there are different grades of cement, right? We have 33, 43, and 53. So what changes will happen in 33, 43, and 53? The first change is that the fineness. The 33 grade cement is less finer in comparison to the 43 grade cement, and 43 grade cement is less finer in comparison to 53 grade cement. The second is the tricalcium silicate content. The tricalcium silicate content is less here, so the strength gain is also less. But in 43 grade cement, the tricalcium silicate is more in comparison to 33 grade cement. So that is the reason 43 grade cement will get more strength. And also 53 grade cement will have more tricalcium silicate content in comparison to 43 and 33. That is the reason we get more strength in 53 grade cement. So the main difference in between 33, 43, and 53 grade cement is only the fineness, because we already seen if the fineness is more, it is going to gain more strength and less voids will be there. And also the tricalcium silicate also helps us in giving the strength. If you increase the tricalcium silicate content, the strength is also going to increase. So this is the major difference between the 33, 43, and 53 grade cement. But whereas the test for compressive testing will remain the same, only the thing is we need to understand how this has to be done. So I hope these things are understood up to here. We'll see you back in the next lecture. Thank you.